Yo, what's up? I am doing a pre-stream because I am trying to figure out a new setup. Um, I think on the last episode of the M3 Live broadcast, I went on Instagram just to see if I could get um, audio to come through. And that's because I want to start a gaming channel. I play a lot of Destiny too. And, I'll be sitting there and just be like, thinking about shit. And I was thinking about making a channel out of it. Most people, when they have a gaming channel, they're watching it because someone is very adept at playing the game, and they may see some things, just like watching sports. It's like amazing to see what people are capable of. I'm not one of those players. In fact, I'm like on the opposite end of that spectrum. On the other hand, I've also seen, like celebrities or politicians who play a game on different platforms and they'll just be talking about shit. And I was like, okay, I could do that. And this will be a little bit of practice. I don't have my setup complete yet. Because at some point I actually do want to play with a team online if I ever find one that I want to play with. So let me go do some things. Of course, we got our regular M3 Live. It's going to be at noon. If you would, join us on youtube.com/mailmediamind. We go live at noon. It's also on facebook.com/mailmediamind. If you are subscribed there. For whatever reason, Instagram has this sort of, policy where you can't stream through their app. It's against their terms of service. So, I think there is a way to jerry rig a live stream through the Instagram. I forget what you call that. The API, I think that's what it is. Yeah, you can get it. You can find a way to jerry rig the Instagram API to stream from your computer, but if anyone finds out, it's against the terms of service, and they could just, ding your account. I don't know if they would straight up delete your account, but it could be annoying. And so I do have a phone, and I now have a setup in my room where I can actually play, and of course you can't see the stream, that's the thing. However, right now, actually through StreamYard, I am streaming on my gaming channel, which is was it Facebook? I actually don't know if that's the title of it, but it's M3 Gaming on Facebook. I guess you could just find it. And it's also on Twitter, or X, whatever. Mail Media Mind on Twitter. I think I'm streaming there too. So, together, doesn't it? So I am gonna run this strand build. This is fairly simple, straightforward. And I also have Spotify on, so I'm gonna see if I can listen to other things. I'm also just kind of testing everything, so it's kind of difficult to see how to get the audio right because I'm going to be playing Spotify on my computer. And the sound from that goes into a external mixer. So I'm using the Rodecaster Duo, and it creates basically all these different outputs into one input, right? So that would be my microphone. I think anything playing on the computer, the sound there, the sound from the game should also be coming through. And then it puts it all into one mix. The problem, however, is when you're talking to someone who's also in the same stream as you, say on a live stream, for instance, you don't want them to hear themselves again. You know, like it's the worst if you've ever had that sort of echo. There is echo cancellation built into StreamYard, but what happens is when it's active, it can make your own voice choppy. So it's best if you can like remove that from the mix. So there's this option, it's called mix minus. You have to make sure that you turn it on when you are streaming with other people or in a chat with other people in the game. For instance, like if I were playing a match with other people on PS5, I would want my stream to hear their voices, but I wouldn't want the people in my game chat to hear their own voices. You know, that's pretty bad. So you just got to make sure you turn the mix minus on whatever output there will actually be other people on. Otherwise, you want all of it to go out. And that sort of is taking me a while to wrap my head around these sound loops. You know, it almost breaks my brain to think about it. But that's what I've been working on for the past week or so, and it has been breaking my brain a little bit, which is why I realized like part of my process has to just be fucking up, trying some things. That's what this is about. For instance, for the past 2 live streams, I've been trying to get local recordings of each participant's audio and video so that, you know, once the live stream ends, I would have video that I could put into an editor to repost on social media and even like YouTube, like doing shorts or short form videos, like taking a topic that's 30 minutes long and chopping it down to like 10, 15 minutes, you know, maybe adding a few graphics, which I'm still really bad at. But it takes persistence for me to get it. Okay. Okay. Oh, that scout is pretty low. What was the other one? Linear Fusion, Scout, and Void. Okay. So truthfully, I think that would be better. And then come on, transfer already. Okay. Okay, so Scout, Linear Fusion, and eventually Submachine Gun, which I'll get back on to in a second. Okay. I'm going to have to reconfigure my artifact. There's a lot on here that I'm not going to be using. Okay. Um, all right. Well, let's see what we got here. Okay. Strand Siphon, Heavy Ammo Finder. Yeah, why not do double? Grenade mod there. Yes, good. Heavy handed. Okay. Strand loader. Recovery is at 40 something. I could bump that up. Do full recovery mod. Resilience. Okay, what is the threat today? The threat is Arc. All right, so I got Arc. Yeah, Void, and what's that? Shit. Hmm. Hmm. You do Void reserves for that linear. And what is that? I can't see it. Adjusting magnification and display position. Pause button. Confirm zoom adjustment. 65. Huh. Okay. Okay. I have a loadout. Man, that took like 15 minutes. Let me go ahead and get started. I didn't realize I should have probably gotten my weapons and stuff together before I got on. But let me see. I'm gonna be listening to the news a little bit. So I could be prepared for the live stream tonight. or tonight, in an hour, this afternoon. Let me see. Let me click here.
In the Senate. So colorblindness here in the context of the portion of the speech does not mean the non-recognition of race. It means the non-recognition of racism. That is the rejection of the legitimate.
I'm just going to let you guys all know up top, I am fully unhinged today.
Let's start by, do we have that first clip? Just to give people a sense of what we're talking about
y'all
here.
need to see this. I was off Twitter that day and then moved the boat.
So there is a black gentleman in a uniform, like a security uniform, and then he gets attacked by two white guys.
I think you got to pause and go back. They need to see this again because this is a pivotal moment.
Basically what's happening is, just before you hit play, this person is doing his job and he's saying, move your fucking boat. I've got to get the correct boat here. And basically while he's arguing with one person, a white person, another white person from his, I don't know what you call it, a six-pack of men. I don't know what they're.
I was say pontoon, and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Is that white people? What do y'all call it? We on a boat together, a carnival cruise?
Yeah.
What?
It was well, I think actually a group of these guys is called an insurrection. So anyway, another member of the insurrection just comes running full speed at him.
Oh, that's funny.
Starts hitting him and attacking him, and then he throws his hat up into the air.
Yeah, but when we replay this moment, I need y'all to see what this black man did with his hat. It's not just he throws it in the air.
Oh, people
he
love
reaches
the hat,
for it,
bro.
then he gonna turn it around, and then he gonna throw it up in the air.
Yeah, he did start
It's
by
a
turning it
black
backwards.
signal. He's Batman. He's Batman. So he's like, I'm turning. He's like, oh no, insurrectionists.
Malcolm has it from another angle. We're gonna watch it from another angle.
Oh god, that's so funny.
The black people just know, like, that's the thing about black people. Like, if I see black people in public and I don't know them, we still gonna give each other the nod. It's just
Yeah.
customary. So I see somebody walk
I
past.
need to get
hey,
some
yo,
hat.
they up. Like, I don't even know them. And he threw his hat into the air, and
Oh,
black
God.
people rushed over.
I love it.
They were like, he's in distress. We have to help him.
So are you gonna see from another angle now?
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry, I told you I'm unhinged. I'm derailing this. Do the other things, John. I'm sorry, I'm being quiet. But just the hat, I just needed people to understand how important the hat was because for people, it was just a very important thing. It's like we all know how to dap each other up. We all know how to do all the dances. And we also will see a hat fly and know that we have to come over and beat somebody's ass with a chair. So,
So it does feel like everyone's enjoying this, in part
Oh,
because, first of all, a bunch of people came to his defense. Second of all, the police went after the white guys that started the brawl. But also,
never
like, there's also like I think that like under all of this, though, there really is like a real darkness to all of it, which is the sense that the reason he's throwing his hat up in the air, right, is that like, hey, I'm in trouble here
Yeah,
because
distress.
I am in a fucked up situation where I'm getting attacked
The hat signal.
by a bunch of different by the hat signal. But everyone gets to watch basically a version of a horrible story that's been told a lot.
Yeah.
But that this one doesn't have as terrible an ending as others have had.
and I think that's a very poignant point because,
Yeah.
we pulled out our phones and we've taken video evidence of our people being murdered by the police and then getting murdered, like George Floyd getting fully murdered, or like there's been other situations where you've watched 9 minutes, 11 minutes of someone getting murdered on film and it still doesn't return the same justice. And then you see that film played over and over on the news and you start to realize that there's a large populace in this country that enjoys watching that because it is reestablishing their
Yeah.
notion that we deserve to be killed, we don't deserve the same rights, and that if a white person pulls up on you
That's
and
the
decides
shit
to
that
police you,
disturbing
even though
though,
they
for
aren't
real, though.
deputized to do so, but they're still
There
allowed
really
to
are
be
people who
color of
enjoy
their skin.
watching black people
So,
get killed.
This was a moment where, like, as a Negro, I'm gonna tell you, I've never
I
seen
hate to
somebody
admit
throw a hat in
that,
the air and notice that was a signal for me
I
to
mean,
come
I've seen
running.
people
And I
actually
don't think any of them black people did either. But they were like, I don't know, he threw a hat in the air.
be happy about
Well, we
that.
gotta run over there. Somebody get a chair. Like, we gotta fight. Like, and so it's like,
What's interesting about that is I think that there's a lot of white people that saw this video and have just been pretending like, I guess that must have been a signal. I didn't know about that, but in a racist system, like white people trying to be good. Like, I guess this is one way that over time an evolved system for how to deal with white violence. And the hat throw, it's a symbol, it's a secret connection that white people don't know
we
about.
come up with all the slang. They always take our language from us, the white supremacists. I assume that if you're all here for John, that you're not, because y'all know what he bringing to the table, and it's not that.
Hey. Stop it.
I don't think there's ever been somebody who comes to John's show and is like, he don't like Trump, I'm leaving. Like y'all got vibes. Y'all good, nice white folks. But the language evolved, and they took woke from us and bastardized it and made it something that it wasn't. All woke meant was just that institutionalized racism is so insidious in our country that it goes from gerrymandering to how our prisons are populated to sentencing to education systems to the reason right now where Texas is going to defund libraries to make them detention centers to continue the prison pipeline for minority youth. It goes into all of that. It's insidious, right? But they took that word from us and made woke like, oh, these are just annoying Negroes who always want to complain all the time about how we bad to them, you know? But they do that with other language. And so, like, there's this, like, phrase, and you know, Malcolm, you know when people say, like, oh, that's cap. Like, oh, that's cap means you're lying. Like, that's not true, right? And that's just like, and a lot of times on TikTok, they turn our language into, oh, that's Gen Z language. No, it's queer black language, and it's black language that they're like, oh, no, this is how TikTok people talking. It's like, no, they don't know what they're saying, and it sounds weird in sentences. But so, cap has been a thing, and then when he threw the cap, I guess he was like, we gotta go change. We gotta go help him out. Like, I don't know.
So he throws the hat. And I saw David Young pointed this out, which I hadn't noticed until I heard him say it. There's no evidence that the hat ever reaches the ground. There's not an angle where the hat comes down. The hat left. The hat was like, I'm out. The hat, when he threw that so high that it like did the ET thing across the moon and it's gone. And then
flew across the city so everybody could see it. Like, we don't get these near black people. We don't get some black people with this hat. I guess we're gonna look and be like, why that hat up there? Well, let's go that direction.
That's funny.
And then, but someone immediately answers the call. But of course, they're on a boat.
Yeah.
And so someone jumps off the boat, swims.
Do you know for a black man to jump in water, he don't know how deep the water is. I can swim and I don't get in the ocean like that. Do you know the ocean and the tides are controlled by the moon? You getting some shit that's controlled by the moon?
So he swims all the way across,
That's
gets
funny.
out.
Like Michael Phelps, he's
But
swimming. That's
a
a
lot,
butterfly.
a lot of the early brawl is happening while he's in the launch. And right as he gets there, the security guard starts walking off, and this person, he's just like, well, now we're walking together. And he just gets up and he's just walking with this guy, and it's awesome. All right, so then, it has brought in so many people. Oh, a folding chair comes down. Jesus.
Do you know they've already made merch about the chair? I saw a hat that was like, I keep that thing
Oh,
on me,
God.
and it was a chair.
Oh God.
This is now,
I
guess,
love the
black
chair,
people's new
though.
statement that if you want to get racist with us, apparently a chair will appear. And see how it's not a gun?
That's such a, I just
That's a
say,
good
that's
point.
under all of this too. Like the sheer luck that this didn't end. with-
Not luck. White
Well-
people have been trying to kill black folks for so long that in the medical industry, they think that we are superhuman and will not give us pain medication because they think we are simply stronger than white people. I have experienced this myself. And it is because they've been trying to kill us for so long and they're like, why won't you niggas die? Why y'all still alive? What's going on? We did everything we could. And so we aren't trying to kill white people. I think that they're still a little worried that we try to want revenge from slavery. But it's like, first of all, we're 13% of the population. We don't have the numbers. And we thought about it. About it. But we don't have the numbers. And we live in a society right now where inflation's high, capitalism is fucked. We want to just live happy, healthy lives. We don't have time for that. So that's why if you ask food, we're going to hit you with a chair. You're not going to die from that. But you're going to learn your lesson. You're going to learn your lesson. We got here with a chair.
My point is only that if I needed to find a gun in a hurry, my first thought would be to check the pontoon boat of 5 drunk white guys attacking a black security guard. That's all I'm saying. Like, there wasn't a gun in that fucking cooler. That is luck. That's all I'm saying.
But also, like, let's be honest. Most people who have guns don't have good aim. I've been to a lot of shooting ranges. I like a 9mm with a laser pointer is accurate, and I can hit center mass. Like, they would have been shooting, like, what you got, 6 bullets in a clip? Like, they're not going to be able to hit somebody that quick. Like, you know, I like a chair. A chair is effective. And he hit a woman with that chair. A woman hopped out of the boat, and he was like, Karen, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get this chair, too. You're going to have to get the word.
Oh, that's funny.
Situation you should have stepped into. And now you gotta sit down. But it's actually gonna be a chair that's sitting you down on your chair.
It's like reverse. It's like reverse of musical chairs. The chair stops you. It's like,
Oh, that's pretty good.
Reverse musical chair.
Oh god, that's so dumb.
I'm running with that. Black people use reverse musical chairs.
The thing that, we're now at the point in this brawl where it's
Oh,
now
God, that's too
9
funny.
distinct fights spreading all up and down this boardwalk. No pandemonium at this point.
Can I tell you? I know you're gonna play the game, but there's also a cultural thing that I think you guys should know about black people, which I also now relating to this hat. So, as a black person, my entire life, if I see black people running, Malcolm, you run.
Does not matter.
You don't ask any questions.
Just go.
You don't
Just
ask where
go.
you're going. You just start running. And I know I've seen them horror movies that y'all white people like to make where someone's like, hello. This isn't funny. Where are you? And they start walking towards the danger. We don't do that as black people. If I see somebody running, I'm like, it's danger. I'm going to run with them. I don't know where we're going. I'm going to ask questions when we get there. So I think a lot of these fights broke out because it was like, what he threw the hat? Somebody swam across the lake. We all fight the way we fight now. That's right. We'll figure out what we're fighting after the fight. What was going on? Why we had to fight the way?
Oh god.
That's like, where's the? That's what happened. So
Yeah, I'm sure some of those people in that fight didn't even know why they were doing it. It's just like they called it.
Yeah. Tom Junbo charging my
Oh god.
Question, where did you get the chair?
Yeah, was that chair? Was that chair a land chair or a seat chair? Did it come from a boat? Did it come from a nearby
Folded
restaurant?
it up and started hitting people with it. I love that they take him to jail and gun him down. They're just like, we brought him in for questioning. Sir, did you return the chair? Where did the chair come from? It seems like a business chair. It seems like, you know, during the pandemic, everyone started having like sidewalk restaurants too, where they would put chairs out and like window or like what is that called? It's a tent. It's a tent and shit on the sidewalk. And now they keep doing it because they're like, oh, extra room in our restaurant. We have to give this up. But did he was there? Where did he take the chair from? And did he return it?
Well, there's so many things that just pop in, right? Like you have a swimmer come up, you have other people joining the fight, you have chairs coming in.
They got a question in
well,
where'd you learn how to swim like a black man?
but they do eventually, the boat that's flying from the spaceport does eventually dock. But I don't know if anyone from that boat makes it to the brawl in time. I'm not actually sure.
I think they saw the brawl from the window, and when the chair got presented, and Black Michael Phelps swum his way over there to fight, they were like, oh no, we don't want to get involved in this. The white lady who hopped off the boat and they got hit with the chair, they're like, oh no, they hit everybody. We're not gonna get involved in this because what if someone throws up another hat? Are 30 more Negroes gonna show up? Is every chair y'all are sitting in right now becomes a weapon?
Oh god.
You don't know how good that's bolted down. I bet you could snatch it up.
Oh my
Take
god.
that risk.
You can't
I
take
think
that
those
risk.
were well-meaning white people like y'all who were like, as we're watching this brawl outside, do we get involved? I don't think we do. Let's wish them well. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and chairs.
Thoughts and chairs.
Title of the episode. Thoughts and
We ain't going out
chairs.
there.
Thoughts and chairs. So
Oh god.
now we'd like to end
I don't understand why.
with look, the America
Oh,
we want
thoughts
to see,
and
the
chairs is
America
too
of Lucia
good.
memes, because there was a beautiful reenactment of this fight by a group of black
Oh,
and white
yeah.
friends at a pool. Let's roll the clip.
Oh my god, I love reenactment too.
Wait for the swimmer. Wait.
Oh god.
That's the America we want to see. Look at that. Oh, the chair. The chair is out. The chair is out.
Oh
Also,
god.
great stunt work. He didn't hit anyone with that
No.
chair, but we know the vibe. Can I tell you I saw this before I actually saw the real thing?
Oh, you know what? That's a great way to discover a story these days, where you get the interpretation and like the meta text before the original text.
Yep.
What a way to live. Lacey Mosley. Everybody check out Scam Goddess. When we come back, how to solve a problem like Maria.
Yeah, I might have to check that
Don't
show.
go anywhere.
That was
There's
too
more
funny.
Love It or Leave It coming up.
Love or Leave It is brought to you by Indochino. We love Indochino suits. And we've got all these major exact measurements. They look bad. Huge fans. We have 10% off any purchase of $300 subscription up bit for you. Rocket Money also helps throwing your money away right now, just generally. Recruiter.
Starting with
ZipRecruiter. Forward. No surprise cost. LOVE. Hi. Thank you for being here.
Oh, this is delightful.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. I listen to the show every week, and so I get worried about sounding intelligent. Uh-oh. Already
Never-
sounding dumb.
We never let that stop us. So you have a new book coming out next month titled "Sure, I'll Join Your Cult."
Yes.
If you had to join a cult in Los Angeles,
Yes.
which one would you pick?
Well, just because it's close to my house, Jehovah Witnesses, they've come up to see us a few times. Saw some ladies out with some nice umbrellas. And I think if you join a cult for a full week, just go all in, attend everything, say, yeah. And then you pull out back at, at the end, an abrupt stop. That can be the boost that you need to get out of a major depression.
No bad ideas in a brainstorm.
No, exactly.
For me, I pick Scientology.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. It's close to my house.
Right?
That's a really good reason.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Geography.
Geography, but also, and people get very upset at me when I say this, but I continue to say it. Tom Cruise seems cool. And like, the man would die to entertain us. He leaves it all out on the field for every goddamn movie. Drove a motorcycle off a cliff. Seems to work 75 hours a day. Skin is dewy as
Short King.
Short King.
Yeah, Short King.
Short King. I watched the original Mission Impossible, and it's incredible. It makes no sense whatsoever. But the least sensible part of the whole movie is that he loses in a fight to John Voight. Could you imagine? Tom Cruise. The man could just do push-ups. Not like, oh, how many can you do? He can just do them. People can just tread water forever. That's his push-up.
I'm concerned that he might not be a lot of fun to talk to. Tom Cruise.
No, I think that's a smart question about
Yeah.
interacting with him.
Yeah.
Super intense eye contact, I bet. Just so deep into you
Yeah.
and your reactions.
Yeah, and I might want to. I mean, this would be the bad part is I might want to mock him as I'm talking to him, or in a very passive aggressive. I don't want to do that to Tom Cruise. He's been through a lot. He's still going through a lot, and I'm sure there's a reason he's so productive. Is because it's a $1 billion shaped hole. I don't know.
Isn't that the interesting thing?
Yeah. Why is he working so hard?
There's not enough. There's not enough.
If you're loved, you got no more ambition. There's no reason to keep. Oh, I gotta keep hustling. No, I've got 2 pups at home. They don't even want to walk around the block. They fucking love me. I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to. Although I am here. That clearly suggests I care a little bit.
Yeah, they're still so, but maybe your bucket is smaller than his infinite bucket.
God,
And
yeah.
everybody's bucket needs some water.
Yeah.
And some people's buckets are bigger than others, and some people's buckets have holes in it. His seems to have a hole, and there's a hole in his bucket. And he puts all the water in, and he's like, bone dry, more water for the fucking bucket.
He's going to be out at the
This guy
Bob
was
Hope
pretty
Airport,
good.
which will be soon be called the Tom Cruise Airport.
got
He'll be out there in his little
reconstruction,
wheelchair, shaking everybody's hand when he's 99.
Threadling?
Yeah. Like
Just
Tom-
like Bob
Action or
Hope,
whatever.
just like needing to get out there and feel useful on that level. I mean, I don't want to sound negative about that. I love the Burbank Airport. I know that's always a crowd pleaser,
And
LA.
here's the thing. And I just want everyone listening at home. We make jokes and we poke fun. We all love the Burbank Airport.
Yeah, no,
And
nothing wrong with that airport.
And if you have to go on a trip and you remember you're going to Burbank Airport instead of the other one, you say to yourself, fuck yeah.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, you're usually going southwest, which is mean you're going to have a weird conversation with someone. It's going to be, someone's, lost a relative, and I always get the middle seat. I'm always a C class on Southwest.
Hey, do you ever think Tom Hanks just goes and sits on the Forrest Gump bench just to get a quick fucking hit?
Oh,
Get a
yeah,
hit,
for
hit
sure.
a juice.
Of course. Wrote a book. Why write a book of fiction unless you need something? You need a little that's. Everybody has the human need to feel useful, and but then some people I think might have a higher, they need to also be recognized and have attention. And I'm talking about myself. I love the glow of the lights.
I love us sitting here standing in judgment of all these attention-seeking whores. It's a microphones on a stage. I go 2 weeks without an audience. I just start yelling at everyone at the office.
No, I know my own. Yeah, the monster.
God.
The calls coming from inside the house. I am the problem. But I also, I also know my limits. I'm just, I'm not. I'm no longer achieving on the level that I'd hoped. Because I realized, I mean, don't you realize this as you get older? Like, oh, it's not what I thought it was anyways.
Yeah.
So why am I striving so hard?
It's
That's
worse.
an interesting way to put it. I think, oh, you haven't yet gotten what you need to have it feel the way you thought it would. Keep going.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that. I thought I was more like, oh, this is good, this is good
all
enough,
bullshit, yeah.
or that's good. Bad. I think I better stop.
It's all a scam.
Well, my therapist often says to me, hey, I think we should work on why you feel this way without trying to change everything about your life to feel better. And I always say, or why don't we see which one of us is right when everything is perfect? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And she's
Yes.
like, I'll see you next week for the same amount of money. And she's good. I like
I
her.
know. I'm sure she's. It's so important. Are you paying attention to out pocket?
She's not in network. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Which that.
But I still
all-
submit the forms. I submit the
Yeah,
forms.
no,
I gotta
Super
submit
Bill,
the forms.
Super Bill. Yeah. All the best ones are in cash, in person, F to F, IRL.
So you went to Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous,
Yes.
Overeaters Anonymous,
Yes.
and Debtors Anonymous.
Debtors Anonymous.
Who was the most fun?
Well, I got to tell you, if you've ever been to Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, I had a lot of hot times, late 90s, freeway entrance trap motels. And so went there. SLA is kind of like a nightclub when all the lights have come up at the end of the night. Like, oh. And then that's what you look like. And then Debtors Anonymous is like if Tony Robbins were 4'9". And he had just sucked in a lot of helium and was trying to tell you, you can get it, you can maybe go on a vacation to Tampa if you use a debit card. And then Overeaters Anonymous is that's kind of the grimmest one, I think. It's not a lot of there's no snacks. There's no snacks. But they are all, of course, free.
And that's and did you tell stories at these events?
Oh, no. You go there, you share, you get your 3 minutes, it's like an open mic. But circle
Wow.
up, and yeah, it's free. That's the great thing.
That's
Also, the great thing about the
hilarious.
cult of 12-step is that they can't kick you out. That's one of the main things about it. So even if you go to a meeting with a full bottle of Jack Daniels, you're in an ice cream cake with a stolen porn DVD.
Wow.
All anybody will ever say to you is keep coming back because they're very dumb angels. And, so great. I mean, they're problematic, pseudo spiritual, paternalistic language, peer counseling, a terrible idea, but they are free.
But there's something interesting though, like 12-step programs, people joining various cults
Yes.
that have some deep philosophy that you don't get to in the first week, right? Like
Yeah.
the first week, it's a lot of self-help and it's a lot of useful advice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of knowing laughter from the people who have been there a while. No, just keep coming back. You'll just stick around a while. You'll start to understand that. 'Cause, like, there's always a special. There's like a lingo, and I'm sure you have it amongst fans here. Like they go, oh, you know this segment, or like there's a group dynamic that happens with anything where you start gathering regularly, where everyone goes, oh, Sam, or whoever it is, or yeah. But it can feel irritating or terrible when you're a person who's first starting it. Like, why is everybody just kind of giggling and like why don't not a feeling of welcome. I know my husband went to a meeting with me and he was like, these people need professional help. Yes, they do. And yet none is forthcoming. And so
Oh, wow.
here we are in this Zoom breakout room.
Oh my god.
But there's
That's pretty
something
good.
I think also comforting, like in therapy and psychology, you hear people talk about this idea of like good enough. Like there's a lot of evidence that once the quality of therapy you're getting, whether it's behavioral therapy or psychotherapy or any number of schools of therapy, like the most important thing is that it just has to be good enough to get you working on yourself in some way. And I find
Yeah.
something like reassuring about that all these different groups have all these different philosophies, but ultimately it's a group of people in a room telling each other what's wrong.
I totally believe in that. Lower the bar to accessing mental health care. Suicide hotline 988, sometimes it's 45 to 90 minute wait. Call fucking anybody. I called Kurt Srenikoff. The lady picked up on the first ring. I told her what's going on. I said, I'm available Friday. I'm taking up valuable resources. She said, all I can do is you keep calling. But before hanging up on me, she did say, you know what, sweetheart, I do believe every human life has value. You take care.
Wow.
How is that not? But like, just anybody, we all have like some sort of availability to talk about stuff. 'Cause I think there's this thing where it's like, oh, you got to go someplace special, you got to go to a professional, which is not only impossible. You know, Kaiser Permanente, you can only see someone once, I think, every 2 months, even when you have a traumatic thing to recover from. I mean, it's just awful out there. So I just think, you know, walk through a Del Taco drive-through, see if somebody will hold space for your witness your experience. I don't know. Like, and yeah, but it doesn't have to be that specialized. And especially Los Angeles is so awful about this. Like, you know, you really need to go see a psychopharmacologist who sees people on Tuesdays at midnight on a helicopter pad. And it's like, yeah, these impossible standards. Like, this, we got to help each other. Yes, try to find professional help. But if it's not currently available, just turn it to the next one. And I'm not kidding about that. Like, because
One thing I've noticed,
That's weird.
one thing that I can't tell if it's a social media thing or a Los Angeles thing, is I often find myself in conversation with an acquaintance or someone I maybe don't know very well, or maybe a friend, and their life is in absolute chaos,
Yes.
and they always are narrating like they just cracked the code. Like, I figured out what my problem is. I figured it out. I've been eating dairy.
I've just trained to be a peer specialist, which is a new thing you can get nationwide. It's a free training. You can get a scholarship if you have lived experience with mental health experience or addiction. You can train to be a counselor in, I think it's over 40 states in the U.S. It's a well-paying job. It can be like $20 to $30 an hour here in Los Angeles. And I just trained to be one. I have to pass the test. I haven't passed the test yet. But
Hey, you got this.
well, all right, thank you. But yeah, there are ways. I think that could be a way to or I'm hoping to be more helpful, because people are looking for help through social media. Like, people will text me, like DM me through Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, go to a hospital. Like, but and I get it. The hospitals are crowded, and maybe they're going to turn you away. And once you get inside the hospital, which I've done myself, that isn't necessarily a solution. You're not going to kill yourself, or they're going to try to get you not to kill yourself. You can figure it out if you want. Come on, and set your mind to it. There's a tree.
Wow.
There's a tree in the courtyard.
It's so bad.
So you're talking about helping people.
Yeah,
Oh my
not the
god.
greatest. But, yeah,
Hey, just if there's an essay portion of the peer counselor test, try another.
yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. They kept. I took the course, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't make jokes," or and I was like, "Okay, no jokes."
So I have loved your stand up and your specials for such a long time, and
Okay,
it's been
Strand.
such a kind of hallmark of
We're
how you
running
talk
some
about
Gambit.
yourself on stage. Is you're narrating
Might have time for like
These-
one.
these challenges that you face, like that special you did in front of your parents, which was amazing.
Oh.
So much of it was about your struggles with anxiety and your own insecurities. Are you writing this book in part because you've gotten to a place where you have some perspective on that, or do you still feel like neck deep in it?
Simon & Schuster offered me $150,000. Now, sadly, because I'm not a great member of Debtors Anonymous, I did not read the contract. What happens is you get it dribbled out over a period of 7 years, depending on how long it takes for you to write the book, which is what it took me. So, but I just wrote it because they said they would pay me to do it. I love money. I love money. I also like the idea of writing a book, and then I didn't realize how hard it would be. That it takes effort. I prefer inertia. Sitting in one object at rest, stays at rest, is my preferred
Yeah, I don't.
physical place. But that's why I wrote the book.
Sorry, maybe we get at this question in a slightly different way. You okay?
Much, but I also want to say, that it's okay to not be okay. And I like to talk about these things just because if I wasn't okay and somebody noticed, let me know. Like, that's what we're all here for, is to go, hey, you know how you said sometimes you talk a little too fast and have a lot of shit ideas? It's like, just tell me. But I don't like. I also have a compulsion to tell everybody everything, because it's fun and it's a cash cow.
I have no idea what that's like. Maria Bamford, thank you so much.
for having me.
The book is Sure I'll Join Your Cult, which everybody should check out. When we come
Thank you
back,
for having me.
some gay commerce. That was great. Thank you. Maria Bamford. And we're back. Please welcome to the stage the hilarious Ian Harvey. Woo! Hi. How are ya? Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Come on in. Are you a Scientologist?
I am not.
Great. So, I just have that card in case someone one day says yes.
Oh, God.
So you were in a 2016 Bud Light ad with Amy Schumer years before conservatives lost their shit over Dylan Mulvaney. You are not just a very funny comedian, you're also a very funny trans comedian. And you were in this Bud Light ad before anyone, I guess, decided they were going to turn this into a national focus on one. She's going to go to it?
Party for everyone.
There you are.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. That's my whole thing. That's all. So to be fair, they had no clue that that guy that was receding hairline before 2 hair transplants and fucking hip tattoos was trans. So nobody knew. Nobody knew. So they were like, they didn't know who to hate in that commercial.
They didn't know who to hate.
Yeah.
You got 2 hair transplants?
Yeah.
I got 3. They don't even know that.
Yours are way better. Yours, but yeah.
So there's some trickery going on. And you got the hair tattoo thing?
Yeah, I got SMP.
What's that mean? What's that stand for?
It's scalp micropigmentation. So basically, I have hair, but they filled in all the other areas with tattoo, with little dot.
That's so cool.
So I know.
It's like you always have a buzz cut no matter what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Always.
Neat.
Yep. I also went to school and learned how to do it. That's the other thing.
Really?
I was so obsessed with the art form, I actually got certified in how to do it because I'm so obsessed.
Yeah, this is like one of those things where I was talking about this in Maria Banford, where my therapist was like, "What if you just cared about this less?" And I said, "Okay." Or
Yeah.
what if I don't have to care about it at all?
Well, it's a very, you know what's funny is like, I think that it's actually, I think that all guys probably feel this way. It's a very transy thing, I think, to be concerned. It's like not just about gender, but it's about like everybody in the world is trans. This is just like, watch my TED talk. Everybody's trans and everybody like is concerned with all of these things, like about that. Like, you know, once I transitioned and I actually got my chest surgery and started taking hormones, I started losing my hair. And then that was the thing I couldn't fucking stop thinking about until I had hair transplants. And then that didn't fully work. It worked some. And then I got a hair tattoo and I was like, that fucking
the
worked.
sound
Now
of
I don't
my
have that fucking static in my head
PS5
anymore.
went out.
And it was very,
was super
very, it
laggy.
was so much like my trans experience. Like I couldn't wait to get rid of my chest. And once I got rid of my chest, I could shut the fuck up in my head about it. So anyway, and it's like, just feels like a very, you know, the other thing is like, I think my butt crack is too high. That's a super weird thing. I don't know. It's like, that's my new obsession. If I get a glimpse of my ass in a mirror, which I will, I think my butt crack is too high. I don't know what they can do about it. I don't know if there's,
It's a different doctor than the hair doctor.
yeah, for
Or
sure.
maybe they could deal with it on the same day.
Yeah.
Just
like,
working on different areas.
yeah. Like an endoscopy and
Yeah.
like to do both. Yeah.
I feel like
I've never heard
saying my butt crack is too high is like a mind virus that's going to pass on to people listening who've never for once thought about the height
Yeah.
of their butt
Oh,
crack.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
now they're just going to be going
Yeah.
to be like doing this, like
Yeah.
a dog with a little
No, they're
poop
going to
stuck
be
in
with
their
their phone. It's going to be with their phone.
with their phone. Yeah, use the phone, of course.
In the mirror. Just
Should have
yeah.
thought to use the phone.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. You have this you gave this talk that everyone is trans, and it is sometimes, I think, hard to understand. Like it's hard for me sometimes to understand the distinction between body dysmorphia and gender dysmorphia. Right? Those things kind of can like run together. Like I see like Ben
It's
Shapiro.
all related. It's all
related.
related. People think like, you know, I think about women who get breast augmentations, and it is like they want to make themselves more feminine. You can almost draw a line to every way that someone wants to alter themselves. You can draw a line back to their gender, and it's like not being enough or too much of something. So
Yeah.
it's almost everything is a direct line back to it. It's like we're all sick with this, you know, these thoughts around. And I don't know. I just think that it's
interesting,
all
yeah.
fucking related. Every hair, you know, butt cracks, whatever. Like,
Well, I do
Just
think that that's
more of a-
why I think conservatives got to this first, and they're not wrong that what is happening is really important. That like there is something very important and big happening, and that what is happening with gender expression and gender identity is a vanguard for what is happening with the broader evaluation of the roles men and women have in our society, and that the expectations men put on themselves in that prison and the expectation women put on themselves. I was like, you'll see Ben Shapiro doing a video about the sort of immutability of biological sex and gender, and then you realize he grew a beard. Why? Right? That's a masculinization. He wanted to see more masculine. And like I think about it for myself all the time because I really struggle with like I put all my insecurities into my appearance, all of them. Don't. And I sometimes think about like the shape I want to be in, right? What is the shape I'm so eager to achieve for myself? What is it? And it's not just that I want to be thinner, right? It's that I want to have a certain shape, and it's maybe more feminine than the masculine version that if I work out hard and diet, I naturally get towards, right? And it's this incredibly difficult. I sometimes feel I struggle with it because in the end, everything I'm seeing is telling me not to be happy with the way that I look from what I see in the mirror, plus from everything the culture is telling me. And yet I think because we take in these images of what it means to succeed on this journey of fitness, or succeed on this journey of dieting, or to succeed on this journey of how you present yourself, that you can't win. And the only way to win is not to play. That's all. I'm not.
Or play with absolutely every bit of it. I don't know. I mean, there's that side of it too. Like, I'm a huge fan of Alok. Everybody, if Alok had a church, I would go.
If what?
Do you know Alok Manon from Instagram?
Yes, I do know. Yes.
I would. Did I say their name right? Does anybody know? I've never said it out loud. I've only worshipped on Instagram. But they are constantly talking about like how there are as many ways to be a man or a woman or non-binary as there are stars in the sky. And it's like, I think that you can just do all of it.
Well, I think that's right. I think it's more like, when I say not play, I mean not accept. The way I've talked about this before in this show is that during the pandemic, it felt like a snow had fallen on all the sidewalks, and then you could make your own little path, right? You didn't have to follow the path that had been there. And one of the things I wanted to do when the pandemic ended was just like wear skirts on stage, just because I wanted to experiment with that feeling.
I don't know if you have. Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've been doing it. But it's been this, where's this?
I'm feeling like a peer counselor right now.
You know what happens? I go to
this.
Taylor Swift, I get 2 hours of sleep, and then it's all coming out.
You know what? I have never, I've been saying this to my partner, Sarah. I don't, to my knowledge, know if I have ever heard a Taylor Swift song.
What do you walk around with your fingers in your ears?
I couldn't tell you if I've heard it. I didn't know who it was, but I've never. Anyway,
that's cool. What a different media experience you're having. Yeah. Your algorithm is so different. But what I realized when I started trying to wear the skirts is, first of all, one thing that happened is tons of older gay men were like, "Stop doing that." They're like, "Please don't do that." Why are you doing that? Why do that? I don't even understand it. Why do it? But what was the second I put on more feminine clothing, all of a sudden I found myself looking in the mirror, and I didn't even realize this, but I'd also, it turns out, internalized a ton of body dysmorphia that women have when they look in the mirror, because I've been absorbing the same content that entire time, and I was like, oh my God, I thought this was a good idea. I've just discovered a whole new bunch of ways to hate myself.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, after I transitioned, it was the first time that I ever thought I could, before I transitioned, like everything I wore felt like drag in some way, because I was always clocked with this. I had an enormous chest, and so I was always clocked as female. And after I transitioned, it was like the first time that I ever would consider and would love to do drag. And it was something that I was like, now that I am seeing how I wish to be seen, I would totally do drag, or even wear skirts, or it's something now that I am who I always thought I was visually, I would do anything. And that's something that, like, that kind of freedom in my head, I don't necessarily do that, just but it's something that I am free to think about, that I absolutely force myself to. I was tortured by before. I actually have a freedom now that I would totally wear anything.
It's cool.
Yeah.
We started with this ad about about this Budweiser ad, and I was thinking about Dylan Mulvaney, and how it's all rooted in misogyny. It's like transphobia and misogyny, and I was thinking about actually how we could use this kind of thing to maybe change culture, like gun culture, and maybe if. I'm just thinking, I was talking with a friend of mine, Jay McBride. Anybody know Jay McBride? Really awesome comic, trans comic. She and I were talking about this, and we were talking about how maybe we could change gun culture by doing AR-15 ads ourselves, and get Kid Rock to melt his guns, or whatever.
Tell the people what they wouldn't let me do.
That was our due for a Pride video this year.
And nobody would let us do
We'll
it.
do it next year. Next year with you.
You want to do it next year? Our whole idea was we're going to arm a bunch of trans people, but then people thought, oh, that seems scary. What if other people show up?
No, we just, if you want to change something, give us MAGA hats and let's see what happens, let us, and that maybe all these people will fall off that fucking wagon, or, melt their guns or turn them in or whatever, to get trans people loving it. And then they hate us so much, they'll give it up. I don't know. Hey,
listen, theme of the night, no bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Yeah.
Now for a segment we're calling Gay in 60 Seconds. So we have a bunch of history's LGBT commercials in honor of, I don't know, you not Pride anymore. Whatever. Just because in honor of, we got to do a show every week. All right. So
In honor of 477, right?
In honor-
is it 477? No. What's your
Oh, it's
show
like, well,
number?
we've done a ton of shows. God, I just made up a number.
okay.
But how many shows have we done?
I
Like
thought I was
300.
310. In honor
yeah.
of 310.
In honor of 310 perfect episodes. In 1981, Absolute Vodka became one of the first mainstream brands to advertise in queer publications like The Advocate and After Dark. And in 1986, they came out with an ad featuring the artwork of Keith Haring, a legendary artist and famous Gaylord. What do you think? Everybody's a critic. You wouldn't know if it was gay unless somebody told you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always like kind of like a little like, well, how do we know? How does the outside of like the queer circle, like cult, whatever, like how does anybody know? That's gay. I mean, for me, it needs to be like loud enough that like straight people know that it's queer too.
Well, I think that's right. And so let's next go to IKEA's dining room table commercial from
Oh, yes,
1994.
I know this one.
Well, we went to IKEA because we thought it was time for a serious dining room table, and we have slightly different tastes. I mean, Steve's more into country. It frightens me, but at the same time, I have compassion. We've been together about 3 years. I met Steve at my sister's wedding. I was really impressed with how well designed the IKEA furniture was. He's really into craftsmanship. And these chairs are really sturdy. This table included a leaf. A leaf means staying together, commitment. We've got another leaf waiting when we really start getting along.
So 90s, so perfect. You can tell they're a gay couple because he pats one of them pats each other on the back.
Yeah.
A nice pat on the back in the gay way, in the gay style.
It's so obvious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also like it has that kind of like one of the members of the is it a couple or not has some sort of like school, like a sports shirt on under a blazer, because he's not one of those fags, he's played sports, don't worry about it.
I was so hoping that they were going to reveal that the other guy's name was Adam. So it was going to be like Adam and Steve. I was so hoping.
Sitting right there.
Anyway.
And IKEA left it on the table like a
But I do
meatball.
love the like, it's also slightly lesbian because like they kind of like it's they're in IKEA and that one finishes the other sentence and I was like, oh, this is so les too. So yeah, same outfit. They have matching windbreakers too. That's
I also like just it's so straight. It's just like they're gay, so they should just kind of like they should do gay stuff like interrupting each other, talking fast. Next up, we have Subaru's "It Loves Camping" print ad. It loves campings, dogs, and long-term commitment. Too bad it's only a car. And that was it. The lesbian said, "There will be no others. There can only be one."
yeah, that's it.
It's just wild.
This is not, it's like a dog whistle or whatever thing. Only lesbians could understand this ad, really.
All right, next up we have Levi's chain commercial from 2007.
All right, I'm gonna pause it there. It is 30 minutes till noon. So if you're watching me right now, we're gonna be starting our live broadcast on YouTube in about 30 minutes. I'm not sure what topics are going to be done. Typically, Greg hosts, but he's away. So Swag is filling in. I'm going to help him produce the show. I have some topics from previous episodes that, he can use. I'm sure he has plenty. You should always, check out his channel, see what he's doing. I always get online. It is, what should I say? TikTok is kind of like my unwind now as a channel, and he's definitely always in my feed, and it's great to see what he's got on deck. Like he knows the algorithm pretty well, what's trending. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has for us today. And I'm gonna call it right now. I basically wanted to stream for about an hour. For one, I think the algorithm, I've never streamed, right? Like if I do, it's only on StreamYard. So streaming on this phone is a thing. I need to make sure I have some more clips for the show. I typically start off with the news, which I have I have the newsreel, but I need to upload it. And then at the end, I like to have a words of wisdom and things that are making us happy. And in the middle, we kind of go through the topics trending and all of that. But you know, you gotta you know, just double check everything, make sure it's there. I like the setup though. I'm enjoying it. The lights are a little bright. Like when I'm playing the game, I have a couple lights behind the monitor. I don't know. I guess it has to be that way if I want to be able to be seen well. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole gist of it. So I'm going to call it now. I'm going to end this broadcast, and I will catch you on the other side. See you on YouTube if it will let me.